So let's dive deeper into this idea of being an independent contractor and bringing it. Because, yes, I get very excited when I make my videos and I love to talk about these things. So here's the deal. As a tattoo artist, you're an independent contractor. And independent contractors, regardless of what we do for a living, it is our job to bring our own business. Nobody's going to make it for us. My wife she's a real estate broker here in Oregon, and she also is in the same position. Nobody gives her any business for free. Nobody gives her anything. She's got to bring it all herself. She makes really good money as a real estate broker. She sells a lot of homes. It's because she constantly is on the grind, constantly trying to make business. And it's the same thing as a tattoo artist. You need to be on the grind all the time. I was tattooing a client the other day and they were asking me, like, Jason, how do you do it? Like, how do you bring it in? Well, it's pretty simple. I go out and I meet people. I meet people in my daily life. Maybe I say hello to them on the street. Maybe I say hello to them in the grocery store. But the fact of the matter is this, is that every person I meet in my daily life finds out that I'm a tattoo artist one way or another. I've got ways of doing it. I got little games of trying to sneak it into every conversation. I'm not going to give you all my secrets, but that's really the thing, as I find, is that you got to make a personal connection with people. And the thing is that if you're looking at a tattoo shop to find you business, you want to find a tattoo shop that's going to bring you business, it just really isn't going to work that way. If you want to be busy in a tattoo shop, you need to work in a really busy street shop where there's a lot of walk-in work. You know, I worked in Venice Beach when I started. There was tons of walk-in work. That's the kind of place, you know. I remember talking to a guy when I lived in Syracuse, New York, and he was like, Jason, you know, how do I get busy? And I was like, go to a college town. And Syracuse was a college town, but it wasn't very college-like. And so he went off to Iowa. He tattooed in Iowa for a long time. He got really good tattooing in a really busy street shop. And then he went back to Syracuse, and now he's like a rock star tattooer. He tattoos way better than I could ever imagine. But that's the thing. You got to bring your own business. And it's a trick. There's like a code. Everybody's got their own little steez on how to bring it, but you got to do it. You got to bring it. So that's the thing. When I get people that come on this social media account and, you know, they talk about how they're a victim of the economy, about how this economy, or maybe, you know, like years ago it would have been better. Well, let me tell you this. This is a famous quote from Greg Irons. He turned to Henry Goldfield one day and he said, Henry, these are the good old days. And that's the truth. Right now, you are in the good old days. It's not going to get any better. It's only going to get worse. When I started tattooing, it was 2002. It was right after 9/11. And everybody was waxing poetic about how busy things were before 9/11 and how 9/11 screwed everything. And for a few years, I tattooed and I thought, man, one day those good times are going to come back. And the thing is those good times never came back because those good times never existed. I had to make it. I had to make the good times. And it's been a long process. It took me a good 5 years to figure out how to make money. Somebody, you know, this other person was going on about how, you know, how privileged I am because they pay a lot of money in rent and I'm a homeowner. And well, the fact of the matter is this, is that I paid rent until I was in my mid-40s and I got married to my lovely wife. And we were able to buy a house together because I could never afford to buy a house on my own. And together we became a real power couple, me as a tattoo artist and her as a real estate broker. And we were able to pool our funds and buy a house. You know, we have two beautiful BMW cars. And the reason is not because, you know, I'm like jacking the people that work for me for percentage. The reason is because the two of us as a power couple have made the money together. And that's the thing, because we bring it. We both understand that. And that's the thing. If you're sitting there and you're thinking, well, you know, I'm a victim to the economy. I'm a victim to the tattoo shop owner. I'm a victim to the rent. I'm a victim to this. You're just going to be caught in that victim mode. And victim gets you nowhere. If you really want to get busy, you need to project an air of confidence, project an air of, you know, how good you are. And I also want to dispel this myth of like telling people that, you know, telling everybody you're available makes you look thirsty. Well, you know what? I don't really care about that because I am thirsty. I am hungry because I have to pay a car payment every month. I got a house payment to pay. I got to pay the rent for the tattoo shop every month. So yes, I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, and I want it. And the reason that I stay busy is because I telegraph to everybody how available I am. And I am super busy. But the thing is that I don't just work from like noon till 4. You know, I work from noon until whenever the tattoos stop coming in. And sometimes that's noon till 6. Sometimes that's noon till 8. Sometimes that's noon till midnight. I have been in my shop 12 hours or more many times. And the people that have made the most money working for me have been the ones that have spent the most time there. Right now I got a young gentleman working for me. He's only been tattooing a couple of years. But, it's resourceful. He's trying. He's not bringing in a ton of business yet on his own, but he's trying. He comes in, he draws every day, he shows up early, he stays late. Tattoos come in, half hour before closing. Do I have to ask him to stay late? Hell no. He just does it because he wants to make that money. He wants to be a good tattooer. And that's the thing. Like, you as a tattooer, I bet I could find a million reasons as to why you're not making money. I could run Tattoo Rescue Show, I'm sure, but that's not really my job. My job is to try to encourage you. And I really encourage you to go out and find the business, because that's the way you do it as a tattoo artist. You don't just wait. If you're waiting, you're never going to make any money. But I will say this, that if you're the kind of person that waits, if you're the kind of person that plays the victim, if you're the kind of person that blames everything around you, good, because sooner or later you're going to flush yourself out of tattooing right down the toilet. And that's good, because we don't need all of you people in here. Someone commented on another post about how gatekeepers keep insulting them in varieties of ways. Well, it's important to grow a thick skin in our business, because again, the victims, the whiners, it's because they don't have a thick skin. It's because they really can't make it happen. They just don't understand it. And that's okay, because part of my reason for creating these videos is so people can understand it. And I'm totally willing to have discussions with people. But if you're going to ask me questions like, what do you pay for percentage? Well, see, that's none of your business. It's between me and the tattooer. Why do you charge rent? Well, the thing is that I would charge rent. I've offered to charge rent to people, but most people that come to me actually want to pay a percentage. I know that sounds crazy, and I realize that there's a bunch of talking heads that tell you if you're paying percentage, you're insane. Well, the thing is that I paid percentage before I was a shop owner, and when business is slow, believe me, I'm paying a percentage. You think as the shop owner I make 100%? Well, maybe I make 100% when things are going well, when the shop is busy, when it's summertime. But you know what? When it's wintertime and ain't nobody making money, I'm paying like 70% of my income to the tattoo shop. I'm taking home maybe 30%. Sometimes I'm taking home 10%. Yeah, it's true. So I think the thing is that when you come on social media and you see these talking heads and they say things like, oh, you're a fool if you pay percentage. Well, I paid percentage the whole time. And sometimes I miss paying percentage because it's really difficult when you do have to make the rent. And man, there's a pandemic on, or there's a recession on, or there's all kinds of things that are real for you as the shop owner, or you got to buy more tattoo supplies, or, you got a couple of tattooers that are doing pop-ups down the street on the same block that you're on, which is totally offensive to me as an owner while using my tattoo supplies, and somehow I got to make ends meet. Whoa. And then you got to get rid of them because, hey, man, like, I can't afford that. And people are like, well, it should be none of your business. Why are they, that you care that they tattoo down the street? Well, I do care if they're not bringing money into the shop. The fact of the matter is if you come into my shop and you bless me with tons of money, tons of customers, I don't care where you tattoo. You can tattoo anywhere. If you're busy at my shop, that's what matters to me. But when you're not busy, when you have no appointments on the books, when you're like, well, man, doing 2 tattoos that day really wore me out. Yeah, I'm not going to be cool if you're tattooing it down the street at a bar or across the town at a bar, because that's just not cool. Like, I got a business to run, and I hire people to help me run that business. So again, you need to figure out how to bring it. And there's so many different ways to bring it, but bringing it is what matters. It has nothing to do with a tattoo shop. If you're looking for that tattoo shop that's going to give it to you, man, you're going to be looking for a long time, because the best tattoo shops, and I've visited a lot of them, they all bring it. They get hired at those tattoo shops because they can bring it, because they're quality artists, because they're amazing at whatever they do. But if you're just like, oh, I need a shop that's going to make me, well, you better open your own shop, because I had a video about that. I talked about that, and you know what? I hung my sign out. I thought I was going to make all this money, and, it just didn't work out that way. So, I don't know. I hope this extended version of this video that I made will help you to understand a little bit more. If you want to have an in-depth conversation, you have to find me at a tattoo convention, because I'm not going to do it over social media. There's a lot of questions I'm just not going to answer. I don't have time. I make these videos because I like to write, but often typing is a pain in the butt. So you want to talk in depth, catch me at a tattoo convention. Come by my tattoo shop. I had somebody made a comment the other day on this as well about how I only paid 50%, which they were wrong, and they had a lot of negative things to say about me. And I was like, you don't even know me. And they said, well, Portland's a small town and everybody knows about you. And I'm like, well, you've never visited my shop and you don't know me. So here's the truth. If you heard rumors about me, whether you're in Portland or whether you're across the country, whatever, I encourage you to come visit me. I run a very open and inclusive tattoo studio. I welcome anybody that wants to come to visit. If you come and visit me, even if you disagree with my opinions, I consider that a deep sign of respect, and I give you the equal amount of respect, because in our business, respect begets respect. And that's the thing. So if you want to know about me, come visit. But if you're going to use social media to judge me or my studio, I feel sorry for you. And I'm sure you do that with other tattooers too. What you really need to do is go to tattoo shops of tattooers that you want to meet, whether you think you like them or not. Because for me, like, it's really important. I try to welcome all visitors. I'm very, very humble about that. And some people say, well, I whine a lot here on social media. Well, that's you. If I was a whiner, my business wouldn't have been open for 14 years. I wouldn't have the assets that I have. I wouldn't have the life that I had, because I'm sitting here and I'm telling you right now, it's up to you 120% to make it as a tattoo artist. The whiners are the ones that are like, oh, I don't like this owner. Well, fine, then go work for somebody else. But you know what? Life is what you make it. Don't make yourself a victim. Make yourself proactive. You can either wait for shit to happen or you can make shit happen. But in the tattoo world, you're only going to make it if you make shit happen. Because if you can't make shit happen, then those fancy tattoo shops, they're not going to be interested in you. I can guarantee you of it. And the TV shows, they definitely aren't going to be interested in you. So, anyways, I want to extend my love and salutations to everybody that gets something out of these, or whatever. And to the trolls, you're going to get blocked if you're going to insult me, because I've obviously touched a nerve with you. And, you know, like, it's cool. I'm glad that I touched a nerve. But if you're going to insult me, my tattoos, my tattoo shop, my appearance, you're going to get blocked. That's just the way it is. I'm not asking you for criticism on my tattoos. 23 years of customers that love my work. And you know what? That's great. And if you got a criticism of it, well, then come to my tattoo shop and talk to you about it in person. Don't sit there and call me names or my work names online. It's not cool, and it shows what kind of weak-minded individual that you are. Okay, this is the first extended video, the end of it, here on YouTube. Hope you're enjoying it, and keep an eye out for more.